What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a who did it better comparison between the Figma and the Buzzmod Demon Slayer Tanjiro Kamado. Let's get into it. Now, starting off with that sexy packaging, we will start with the Buzzmod simply because this one is the newer, and we'll get into that one next. The Buzzmod does say Aniplex right there, Demon Slayer right there, Buzzmod 1/12. It does have the black and green color scheme, which is pretty much Tanjiro written all over it. There's an image of him right there with his sword. We do have 1/12 scale action figure Buzzmod right there. Kimetsu no Yaiba, that is the Japanese version of Demon Slayer, if you didn't know. 1/12 right there, Buzzmod at the top. Same thing at the bottom. On the side, we just have Demon Slayer, Buzzmod, same thing on this side. And then, of course, on the back, you do have a ton of poses you can get the figure into, as well as all the legal stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at that DX version of the Figma. Now, moving on to that Figma package, I have to say, this one I really do like for the DX edition for Tanjiro. It looks 100 times better than the one that came with the original release. It does say Max Factory right there, Figma right there, Demon Slayer right there. Of course, you've got this image of Tanjiro using his fire breathing on an all black background, which is simplistic, but it still looks very nice. I don't know what this says right here. You've got this like gold label down there where it says Tanjiro Kamado DX edition. Even something as small as that makes the package really pop, especially with the green and blacks and reds that you've already got on here. It says Figma right there, action figure series, Max Factory. Same thing at the bottom with a little bit of legal stuff. We've got this dope image of him right here, which I'll dive into in just a sec. I really love these golds and greens, the way all these colors mix and pop. On this side right here, it just says Demon Slayer Tanjiro DX Edition. And then this is where it starts to look nice. You can take this slip cover off, and then you can see the window where it has the figure and all the accessories that it comes with. You've got a little Nezuko in there, the water breathing, fire breathing, Max Factory right there. I don't know what that says. Number 498 DX Demon Slayer Choking Hazard. At the top, we've got an image of him using a water breathing technique, which that looks super dope. Same thing at the bottom right here. There's the barcode. Then here's that image. Show it to you the full way. We've got him just standing there looking like pretty much Tanjiro. I love that. And then we've got him right here with his signature smile. Then on the back, we do have the figure and all the accessories, as well as more legal stuff at the bottom. So I'm pretty excited for this. Let's go ahead and bust this one out and see what separates this one from the original release. Now, speaking of the DX version, if you guys watched my last review, then you know when I reviewed this Tanjiro, I actually had the standard edition. I thought that I pre-ordered the DX, but I didn't. And so I was extremely disappointed when I got it. And I think it kind of affected my review a little bit. So I'll try to do a little bit better on this one. But man, I was just so disappointed because of the lack of accessories. Like, I understand there's a DX edition and then a regular edition, but the lack of accessories really just killed it for me, especially considering the fact, like, y'all don't know, man, I love Tanjiro. Like, I have Tanjiro tatted on me, yo. Like, I really love the character. And so I'm going to try to do better with this review in terms of this comparison, because it really is a good figure. That I'm going to say before I even dive into who did it better. The Figma is a really good figure. Both of these are. You can't go wrong with either, which is exactly why I'm doing this video, to help you guys make your choice if you haven't already made one. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the details on the Buzzmod. Then I'm going to talk about the Figma, because the Figma is the newer one. Truth be told, I really wish that I could have just wrote a script for this video, because there's so much I want to talk about. But if I was to have wrote a script, you guys wouldn't have got this video, because I hate writing. But anyway, starting off with this one, as you guys can see, this is the Buzzmod rendition. I'm sure all of you guys have seen this. I want to say he came out in December. I think that's when I reviewed him. I thought that this figure was great. The one thing I love about it the most is the soft goods. That's probably what made this figure the most for me. I felt like it was lacking in terms of the sculpt. Like, a lot of it almost looked a little bootleg-ish, but I think it really depends on the fact that this was a new company and I just wasn't used to their work. I don't know anything about these guys, and so they came out of nowhere. They dropped this figure. It's completely different than anything I've ever handled, and so it threw me off. But I've had this guy since then, and I have really been loving this figure. The fact that you can take the jacket off, once again, is just something that really makes me like this figure. And I mean, I don't think I've ever even posed him without it, but it's the fact that I have the option to do so. And I do want to do a comparison between these two, actually, while I've got him right here. If you look, I know a lot of people had problems with the face on this one. They were saying that he was a little bit too tan. These guys are the exact same in terms of how tan they are. If you look, Tanjiro, I guess, is a really tan character. I didn't really pay much attention to it in the series, but the only difference is this one has a little bit more of a gloss to it than the Figma. And as I said before, what you can do is just hit that with a matte finish and you won't even notice it. Now, the main thing that I think is different between the two, other than the fact that you can take off the jacket, is the jacket. This one is a bit more of a solid green versus this one is a bit more of the bluish green. Now, I will say the Figma's is more accurate in terms of the color. I didn't even notice this until I had the two of these side by side. So it's not like it's anything major, but if you're someone who's all about accuracy, it is something to be pretty much taken into consideration. Now, as far as the paint goes on both of these, this one is a tad bit lighter brown than this in terms of the gi. Honestly, I think both of them can be considered accurate because it really just depends on who did the art in the series. It can be, they could be in the sun could be hitting this one, meaning obviously the clothing is going to be a little bit lighter, or they could be in the woods, meaning he'd look more like this. So can't go wrong with either. Now, as far as the hair goes, I like both of these sculpts. I really do. But I have to say that Figma did it a little bit better because Tanjiro's hair is brown and they really did it well enough to where you can see it's brown, but it has like these black highlights in it. On this one, it looks like it's black with brown highlights. Either way, still both of them looking good. Once again, one of those things that I noticed only because I have the two of these figures side by side. I don't think it makes one better than the other. I like both of these. And now talking about the Figma, this one looks great. I really feel like Figma knocked it out of the park, which they always do when it comes to anime figures. They usually kill it. I do have some issues with this one now that I've had a little bit more time to play with it though. The main issue I have is the fact that these arms look like they can be lifted a little bit higher at the shoulder so that you can get them to sit a little bit more flush, but you actually can't. So if you're looking at this from certain angles, there's a gap between the shoulder and the arm right here, and that kind of bugs me. Another thing that Buzzmod does better is you can actually remove the sheath from the Buzzmod version. So if you just want to pose him sitting down without the sword or the sheath, you can do that. With this, you can only lift it up and down just a tad. There's no way to actually completely remove the sword, which is a little bit disappointing. But I mean, hey, he does always have it on him. But still, I'm a sucker for options, which is once again why I like the jacket on this one being removable. And you can't remove it on this one. Now, in terms of the looks on these, I feel like Figma did the best they could do with adding articulation to this big bulky jacket that Tanjiro wears, and they did a great job with it. I cannot complain about that at all, because you can pretty much get this guy in any of Tanjiro's signature poses and you don't have to struggle to do it. You don't have to worry about anything popping out of the socket. You don't have to feel like the figure is breaking. You can do it. Considering the fact that all of this is extremely blocky, I feel like that's solid enough, and it looks the best that they could make it look. I'll say that. So I'm fine with this. I don't really have anything to complain about. I do like this better, but I mean, hey, it doesn't really matter. This is not my personal opinion. Moving on to the height, it's pretty obvious which one of these is taller, but in terms of how they scale with the rest of your collection, it all depends on what you collect. As far as the Figma version, to the top of his head, he stands about 5 inches tall, right under 5.5, and then to the top of the Buzzmod's head, he is right at 5.5 inches, so about a half an inch taller than the other, which isn't too bad. And of course, I will be showing some size comparisons later, so you will know how he fits in with a few other figures. Honestly, I'm fine with either of these. I feel like it's to the point that you can wedge Tanjiro in just about anything 6-inch, and he'll look good enough. And now for the portion where this video does get serious between the battle of these two, the articulation. This is where I know some people will make their decision automatically. Let's go ahead and start off with that Buzzmod. He does look up very, very well. As you can see, it does come out of the head and the neck. He looks down even better. This guy can literally look at the ground. So sad Tanjiro is definitely possible. You do get tilt, turn, and you can move his head pretty much all around, even without the use of the neck. And I popped that off on purpose just to show you guys what kind of joint is in there. So yeah, head and neck articulation, pretty much perfect. Arms can go up and out about that much. So if you want to pose Tanjiro swinging his sword or even punching somebody, you can do that. Now, I don't like these Revoltech joints. They're a little ugly to me, but they can be hidden very, very well to where you won't see any ugly gapping in there. And they also help to bring his arms all the way forward. That is magnificent. Of course, you do have the built-in swivel. Yes, it does look ugly, but if you pose it nicely, you can hide all of that gappage in there. Now, as far as the elbows, they are single jointed, but you can bring them in about that much, which I think is fine. You don't want to bring it in too much with the robe on anyway, but this is going to help with getting in just about any pose you want it to. The hands are on a hinge, the same as the Figma, so I won't show that on them. It's pretty much the same kind of hinge. You can move it in about that much. The only hindrance is going to be the sleeve. He does have a diaphragm joint. He can lean back about that much, forward about that much. Most of it is going to come out of the waist, so then he can lean forward that much. He can lean back to the point that he'll pop off. That I didn't do on purpose, but actually, yeah, he leans back pretty far. I think it was just because I had that floaty piece stuck under there, but he leans back very far. So if you want to get Tanjiro free falling doing a sword swinging pose, you can totally do that. This guy can just, his torso is just absolutely amazing. You can do a lot with it. The legs, it looks like they're on a drop down method, but they aren't. And they still work almost as if they were because of this floaty piece in the middle. If you want to do Tanjiro giving a demon the boot, he can do it. He can kick back about that much. He can do the splits to the point that the legs pop off, and there's a reason that the legs pop off. I'll show that when I get to the accessories. Actually, let me fix that real quick. That was unintentional. As far as the knee goes, you can only bend it about that much, which isn't very far at all, but wait until we get to the accessories because you'll see a way that you can make this a lot more effective if you haven't already seen before. You do have a swivel right up here at the cuff of the boot, and then as far as the foot going down, I said boot, but sandal. It goes down about that much, up about that much. You do get ankle rocker and you do get toe hinge. So I would say articulation on this guy, for me, still, as I said in the first review, it's a 10 out of 10. This guy's done pretty much perfect. Now, beating perfection is almost impossible, but it is possible. We saw Kid Gohan do it. Shout out to the people that got that reference. Moving on to the articulation for the Figma. He does look up only about that much, down about that much. You do get tilt and turn, but it definitely doesn't move as well as the Buzzmod. So the range on this guy is a lot less. As you can see, that's about as much as he can look down. So you're not going to be able to get those same poses that you can get out of the Buzzmod. As far as the arms going up and out, they go out about that much, which I'd say is right around the same. It still looks good and it works very well. He does have a bicep swivel and he has butterfly joints, but they work very weird. You have to make sure that this piece right here at the shoulder is lined up properly, and that's what helps him to bring his arm forward. But when you bring them forward, they don't come nearly as far as the Buzzmod, and once again you have to line it up, and that's what I'm trying to do while on camera, but you can only bring them forward about that much. So you can get him into the sword holding poses, but what you have to do is you have to use the butterfly joint or the bicep swivel. You have to use the elbow joint, and then that's what's going to help you get him in some of those poses. But it's still way more difficult. Now anyway, going back, you do have a butterfly joint, I'm all off, a elbow joint that comes in about that much, which I'd say this is about the same as a Buzzmod, so you don't get a whole lot. Now one thing I like that they added, and I have to give them props for this, is I don't know what this is called, but it is a joint right here where you can swivel the sleeve. That is super cool. I'm glad they threw that in there, because what would happen is if it was just stuck one way, depending on how you pose this guy, it could get in the way a lot. And so the fact that you can move it out of the way, you can turn it backwards, that's extremely helpful. Now the hands are on a hinge. You can move them quite a bit. They're only hindered by the sleeve, just like this one. As far as the torso, he crunches forward very well, so you don't have to worry about him crunching forward. As far as leaning back goes, he leans back very well also. You do get a whole lot of movement out of that torso. The jacket, you can lift these pieces and have them blowing if you want them to. It looks all right to me. I still don't like all of these extra pieces right here, but they worked with what they had to do, so I'm not going to complain about that. As far as a sword, you can pretty much move it up and down about that much. This helps for poses when he's reaching for his sword. That's why you would want to lift it. Other than that, it's pretty much useless, but it is there, so I'm glad they did that. He does have swivel. As far as kicking forward, he can give an enemy the boot, no problem. He kicks back a whole lot better than the Buzzmod. Not that you would ever need him to do it, but he can. As far as doing the splits, he actually does the splits a little bit better as well. So that is there. And he does have thigh swivel. He also has thigh swivel. I think I forgot to mention that. But yes, they both have thigh swivel. As far as the knees go, he gets what appears to be a single bend right here. But if you want his legs to go back further, you get another small bend right there. It's right at this piece above the shin, and that's cool that they added that in. And then you do get to swivel that as well, so that's awesome. Foot goes down about that much, up about that much. Of course you get ankle rocker. Hold up, let me show that again. I was looking off camera. Down about that much, up about that much. You do get ankle rocker, and then you do have a very good toe hinge. So articulation wise, once again, Figma did the best that they could do, but I gotta give it to the Buzzmod. And one thing that I also want to mention is these pieces right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that on camera, but there's a small gap in there the more you articulate these, and it just feels like they're eventually going to pop off. They get pretty annoying when you're trying to articulate the arms, so be aware of that. It is annoying, but I don't think it'll break. It just feels like it's going to pop off. And now the battle continues as we get into the accessories. Of course, starting off with the Buzzmod. First off, he comes out of the package with no jacket on, just his smiling face and a pair of fist hands. And then you do get a pair of relaxed hands, which I actually use these for when he's reaching for his sword. You get a pair of sword holding hands, and then you get a pair of open palm hands. So 3 sets outside of the fist that he comes with. As far as expressions go, you get this angry face, which this is him when he is in full Tanjiro mode. Somebody messed with Nezuko, so he's about to go off. Then you get this comedic face right here, which I love this. I know this is one I think a lot of people didn't particularly care for, but I love this expression right here. Now, for what I was saying earlier in terms of the legs not being able to bend much at the knee, that is where these come in handy. If you want to use these for him sitting down on the mat that he comes with, you can use them for that. Or if you want to get him in an attack pose where his knee is fully bent, you can use that. Now, I know you're looking at the foot right here, like how can you do that? You actually pull that off, and then you pull the foot off the bottom, and you can use that and plug it in right here and articulate it. So yeah, that is what that's for. So you can get him in some pretty dynamic poses. Of course, he does come with his sword sheath. This is the sheath that you just slide into the belt, and then you get this piece that you can plug in there for when he has the weapon put in the sheath, or you can take it out and it goes very well. You don't have to worry about it flying. It plugs in there just fine. Then he comes with the sword, of course, which not a whole lot of detail on it, but still looks nice. I really love that. You get the box that he carries Nezuko in. And this is one thing I felt was important because he has this every single episode. So this is an accessory I felt like was very, very important. And then you do get these pieces that plug into the back of it. But let's say you want to have him just sitting down, or have the box just sitting down, and you don't want these plugged in, you can take them out. So that is very, very cool. Now the last thing that he comes with, which I thought was interesting because of the decision they made, is a fire breathing effect. And Season 2 still hasn't come out, and I think this figure came out right around the middle of Season 1, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, I don't know. But it's just strange to me that they didn't give him a water breathing effect. But what's cool is that they are releasing Giyu, who comes with a water breathing effect, so you can mix and match parts. Now, one thing I want to say about this, though, is it's very translucent in the middle, meaning that depending on how you have your lighting, if you're photographing this, it can be hard to make this actually look like a good fire effect. So just keep that in mind. You have to be pretty much professional when it comes to using your light to make this look good. And I'm not professional, so you will very rarely see me use this accessory. And if you did like the accessories with the Buzzmod, I can guarantee you that you are going to enjoy the accessories that come with the Figma. Because first thing I gotta say, we'll get to it. He comes straight out of the package with the smiling face on, pretty much the same as the Buzzmod, and a pair of fist hands. As far as the regular hands go, you get this one hand right here. This is for the left. I'm guessing this is for holding on to his sheath. I'm not entirely sure, but you get a pair of sword holding hands, you get a pair of relaxed hands, and then you get a pair of open palm hands. So he does come with a few more hands than the Buzzmod, which that's cool. As far as faceplates go, you get the regular smiling one. You get another smiling one. This is Happy Tanjiro. I'm glad that they included this. You get a teeth gritted face, and this is just Tanjiro going on attack mode. And then you get probably my favorite one. This is definitely him when he's having a conversation with Zenitsu, or maybe even Inosuke. I just couldn't imagine being Tanjiro and trying to control those two. It just seems like he's the only level-headed one on that team. Because Nezuko's always asleep. But speaking of Nezuko, you do also get this little Nezuko piece right here, which this I love that they included. I don't know why the back's like this. Maybe it's supposed to go into the box that he carries her on, or carries her in, but she doesn't come with it. I think that actually comes with the DX Nezuko figure, which is supposed to be coming out this month, I believe. August, maybe September. I'm thinking it's this month. I don't know. But she can go inside there, but she doesn't come with it, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, if we're going to get it with her, at least they threw in the accessory. We do get his sword, of course. Can't have a demon slayer without the weapon that he used to slay demons. And it does look good. And then we do get this piece that plugs into the sheath right there. And it is the exact same as the Buzzmod. You just got to line it up properly, and then it goes right in there. It's not coming out. It's not going. Actually, this one did come out, but I probably didn't have it put all the way in. Let's try that one more time. Let's see here. It's always horrible trying to do this on camera, but yeah, there it is. It is in there, and it's not coming out. So yeah, like I said, as long as you plug it in properly, it's not going to go anywhere. Now, let's talk about my favorite accessories. First off, the water breathing accessory. The paint and everything on this is perfect. Figma could not have done this any better. Like, man, this is sick. I love this a lot. And even though it's just a simple slash and not like a full all the way around effect, this thing looks dope. And pretty much what you do is you clamp it onto the stand somehow. I'm not sure how it works, but normally I wouldn't even show the stand, and oops, I just hit the camera. But I have to show it for this just because this is what you use in order to utilize the effects that comes with this guy. So yeah, make sure you have this plugged on properly, and then that's how you can use these effects. This just looks dope. But this is what I like also, this fire breathing effect. Now also, this one is very translucent as well, same as the Buzzmod, which I'm going to show these side by side. But as you can see, this one is a lot more clear in the middle, meaning your light has to be perfect in order to make this look good, versus this one will naturally just about look like fire, versus this just looks like a weird effect piece depending on how you have your lighting. So as far as the effect pieces go, I've got to give it to Figma. They knocked it out of the park. Both of these come with great accessories. I would say that the Nezuko gives Good Smile a slight one up, but it doesn't come with the box. So it's like, I don't know who I want to give it to. They're both good. And Nezuko's going to stay in the rest of this review, by the way. But they're both good. You can't go wrong with either. Moving on to size comparisons, here both of them are standing next to the other Buzzmod releases. We do have the Buzzmod Nezuko, which is a beautiful figure. And then we do have the Buzzmod Zenitsu. And this is actually my favorite one, but Buzzmod's just killing it distributing these guys one after another. We do have Rengoku, who I believe is going to be coming out this month. I've already seen some photos of him floating around, and I am absolutely stoked for that one. Next up, here we have him standing next to the Figma My Hero Academia Izuku Midoriya or Deku, and then we have the Figma Haikyuu Hinata Shoujo. And lastly, since the No Way Home trailer just dropped, why not show him off next to a couple of Spider-Man figures? We do have the Sentinel Miles Morales from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Marvel Legends PS4 Gamerverse Spider-Man. Now, if you've seen any of my Who Did It Better videos, then you already know how the end always goes. I tell you which one I like more, but I don't tell you which one I think is better, simply because at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. I could tell you guys a million times over how much I think that the Buzzmod is better than the Figma, or the Figma is better than the Buzzmod, but that's not going to stop you from making your decision. Both of these figures have strengths, both of these figures have weaknesses. I personally don't like the shoulder joints on the Figma. They bother me. I really don't like that gapping. I also don't like how it kind of separates at the bicep, and the more that I mess with it, it feels like it's just going to come apart. I don't like that you can't take the jacket off, but that is to be expected from a Figma. I don't like that you can't remove the sword from the sheath in case I want to pose him sitting down the same way I do on the Buzzmod. Now, as far as the Buzzmod goes, some people say it's too big. Personally, I don't think so, but I feel like maybe it could have been slimmed down just a little bit. It doesn't really bother me. Some people say they don't like the faces on it. It doesn't bother me. My only gripes about the Buzzmod are the fact that I really like the jacket better on the Figma, because they painted it more accurate to the anime. But other than that, I just have had more fun with the Buzzmod version. I don't know what it is. I just really enjoy it. Now, one thing I also tell people to take into consideration is, yes, we know for a fact Figma is going to give us Nezuko, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. We don't know where this line is going to go after that. We don't know if they're going to continue. We don't know if they're going to stop. It's Demon Slayer, so automatically it's going to sell well, but I've seen figures sell well from Figma and they still not continue a line. As far as the Buzzmod goes, we've got Rengoku, who's coming out this month. We got Giyu, who's coming out, I believe, in February or January. I believe Inosuke is coming out in February. We do have Shinobu, who I know is coming out. I've also heard rumors we're going to be getting a Kazu, Inmu from Mugen Train. If we get those two, obviously there's no reason they wouldn't give us Muzan. So I really think that Buzzmod is going to take this line as far as it can go. Now, that's not a diss to Figma, but it's just that Buzzmod doesn't really have a whole lot else going. I think the only other line that they're doing is Full Metal Alchemist, which they just released Ed Elric, and I don't even think they've announced anyone else. So they're the ones who are going to take Demon Slayer far. That we already know, and obviously they're going to look so good together. But once again, it all is down to preference. If you like the Figma better, go with the Figma. If you like the Buzzmod better, go with the Buzzmod. And the reason I can say either or is because both of these are going to be over $100 no matter which one you decide to get. It's just, it all depends on which you think is better for you. Personally, I like both of these. It's obvious which one I like more, but still, I'm keeping both of them. I really love Tanjiro, and I'm going to enjoy having both of these. But anyway, I've rambled. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stay safe wherever you are. Bye.